Welcome to the Veterans in Politics Talk Show. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, live stream on Facebook.
Welcome to the joint Veterans Endorsement Interviews for non-judicial candidates. At the outset, we would like to formally recognize and thank our sponsoring organizations for making today's event possible. Judge Mary Perry, Clark County District Court, Family Division, Department P. Christine Brewer, Clark County District Court, Family Division, Department S. Veterans in Politics International, Nevada Veterans Association. We also extend our sincere appreciation to our additional sponsors and community partners whose support helps ensure a professional, fair, and transparent endorsement process. We are honored to have all of you here with us today. Before we begin the interviews, we will review the rules and format. First, panel members will introduce themselves by stating their names and the organization they represent. Next, each candidate will introduce themselves. Please include the office you are running for and a brief explanation of why you are running for the position. We will then proceed to the interview portion. Please remember this is an interview and not a debate. Candidates may not ask questions of another. All responses must be directed to the panel. And in the interest of fairness, there will be time limits strictly enforced. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer each question. And when you have 30 seconds remaining, you'll be shown a yellow card. And when your time has expired, you will be shown a blue card. Of course, you may finish your sentence, but we do ask you to conclude after that. After all panel members have completed their questions, you will have an opportunity to speak for 1 minute as a closing statement. So we will begin with Mr. Keach. Please introduce yourself and the organization you represent.
Thanks, sir. Jeff Keach here with Nevada Veterans Association. And Paul, my first question is,
let's meet Chelsea first.
Chelsea Fisher, Nevada Veterans Association. I am also an Army veteran, and I currently serve on Nye County School Board of Trustees.
Leslie Caliano, retired CCSD employee and Veterans in Politics International.
John Brookhagen. I'm not a veteran, but I do represent and I'm proud to participate with Veterans in Politics International, and I'm a former educator and educational author.
Good afternoon, Paul. Tam Larnard with Veterans in Politics International. I'm a retired middle school and high school CCSD principal and former member of the Nevada Statewide School Safety Committee. Welcome.
Patrick McCray, I'm representing the Nevada Veterans Association. I'm a retired naval officer and former social studies teacher.
Mr. Casey, please introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Paul Casey. I am an attorney. I'm an educator licensed with the Clark County School District. I'm a businessman, and more importantly, I'm a parent. Can you not hear me? All right. We can hear you. All right. The parent. And I am president running now for Clark County School District, Trustee District G. I live over in Henderson, Nevada, and I'm very passionate about it because for over the years, I've been in leadership through the activities I've done, raising tens of millions of dollars for the Children's Miracle Network, the Blind Foundation, epilepsy, and whatnot. And children with special needs have always been my passion. My daughter was the poster child for the Children's Miracle Network. And because of that, when she passed, I decided it was time to give back. So I've been working for the Clark County School District in primary autism, intermediate autism, the general ed from kindergarten through fifth, and sometimes I'm what they call the social or the special substitute on special assignment. And thank you for your time.
Really means a lot to us. Thank you for your time, for even being here. I think that means a lot. We're going to begin the questioning with Mr. Keach.
sorry to take that little question diving in too early. I'm also a Army vet. You got Army corner down here coming at you, Paul. CCSD, I believe, is currently listed somewhere around 50th in the nation. 12th grade students attend less classes than 11th grade and below, and they're graduating below standard, if not pure failing. What would you propose to improve those statistics?
Well, first of all, the teacher-student ratio is very poor. When you go into the schools that I've been in, I've worked in 5 of them. Generally, I'm seeing somewhere between 3 and 4 times the amount that the teachers can actually work with. In the 5th grade, there's an example there. For me, I've been seeing around 37 children to 1 teacher, and occasionally we'll have an aide that will be in there. You need to break it down. If a child doesn't feel like he is being attended to or giving the attention they need on a question or a problem, he's going to get frustrated. When you deal with children with special needs, you have other situations at hand, like maybe language or ability to understand. So we work with that real hard. I teach also sign language, and I use that to break down the communication barrier so that when I can develop that rapport with the child, he feels like he's not being left out. And I really think that's one of the most important things I've seen in the schools.
Chelsea Fisher, Nevada Veterans Association. Have you read all of the NRS which govern all school board trustees?
I have overseen it and I've looked at it in general. I think the key to take away from it is that the trustees are sort of like the voice of the people. They actually have to be accountable to the people that actually are impacted the most, parents and children, not the importance of administrations and things like that. The policies need to be carried out there for the benefit of the children and their parents. And we lose that. Today, when I work in the school, I see a parent come in, they're usually working 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And so when that happens, I try to make it personal and say, gee whiz, this person did one thing right today, so I focus on that. The parent walks away with some encouragement. As to responsibilities, yes, there's accountability. One thing is their budgets and hiring of supervisors. And recently, there was a major problem in Clark County regarding a supervisor. The Board of Trustees immediately dismissed him. I don't know why they did it, but then rehired the person, and they went to arbitration and settlement. My background as an attorney would have been, why don't we contact the Clark County School District legal team and see what the contract entails and to find out where the problem was. And if it was something that was truly horrendous, then I would ask for other investigation into it. But just arbitrarily to do that was wrong. So there has to be accountability. The money is there. There's billions of dollars for Clark County School District. However, we're not seeing productivity with the money, where it's really not being used correctly. And I think that's something that needs to be addressed. And I would ask for accountability.
Leslie Caliano, Veterans in Politics International. Should Title IX be ignored and transgender boys be allowed to play in girls' sports? And the second part of that question, should or should not DEI be removed from the district entirely?
Well, presently under Title IX, yes, I think the protection is that it's unfair to place a child that is a female versus a male. And we've seen that in many times in competition sports. Last summer, I believe, or was it the summer before, in the boxing, when a male was fighting against a female, and he destroyed her. Now, I've worked in the martial arts in my life, and I've been in it for 40 odd years. So when I pair up a child with each other, I give him a presentation of, wow, look what you're at. This is what might happen. It might not always be a boy and boy. It could be a boy and a girl. But yes, it should be separation, because then you're having people on the same playing field. And second, as to DEI, I thought that the federal government will remove that from the president's executive order, but I truly believe, I think that's the big problem with Clark County School District. They're looking more for equality rather than accountability and getting accomplishments. Merit-based. If a child is really striving to do well, they will achieve it. But if it's just being passed on, like I used to do in some events where we have a participation award, what is that? Where's the incentive there, folks? Gee whiz, that doesn't work for me. Thank you.
Thank you. John Brookhagen, Veterans in Politics International. School boards are often tasked with implementing policies set by the Nevada legislature. And in your view, where is the line between compliance and leadership? And can you specify an example of how you would exercise independent judgment to drive meaningful change within CCSD rather than simply executing state directives? And how would you measure whether that change was actually successful?
Well, let's break it down a few things, okay? When it comes to the policies, yeah, those are guidelines that are sent down from the legislature. There should be, first of all, addressing the issues at hand. Just because you make a policy or you throw money at a policy doesn't mean that problem's going to be fixed. So you have to understand. So I would look at it that way, address the issues, try to have some kind of options that we can do, and see if they can comply with the legislative mandates.
With all due respect, a lot of times it's not guidelines, they're actually laws or NRS statutes. So, where would you use your discretion within that framework?
Well, if there is, I would believe the Clark County School District has a legal team. If there's a question, I think we would ask for that guidance, because that is where is going to finally end up if it's going to go into court. We need representation. But I'm not here to spend the county's money nor the parents' money on legal actions. If it is not a warranted, valuable law to the benefit of the community, it will be challenged in the courts. And that won't just be the trustees.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Our new superintendent isn't really all that new anymore. She has got over a year of experience. And I would like you to give her a grade, not just her, but her and her cabinet that she's assembled to run and lead the district. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. And then please give us a justification as to whichever grade you do choose to assign.
Well, as the new supervisor, I applaud that she's there and she's gone through the process to make sure that she's qualified. As to the policies and whatnot, I haven't seen them. I mean, I'm in elementary school and all I see is classrooms that have too many students in there, not enough educators in there, overworked. These special ed programs are a mess. When we get into the STAR program, it truly is a mess there. And I think that a lot of things that they're trying to do is try to cut expenses. Like they're going to remove like close to 50 schools. Why don't we take those schools that they're going to dispose of and repurpose them for other reasons? I would suggest, why don't we take things like the special needs programs, and if there's behavior issues and they're in the areas that these schools are, they would be able to go there rather than sit on a bus and ride for about 45 minutes. That's one example. We own the building, we get the funding from the government, and that's how they should move forward. After the fact, why not use those same buildings for vocational or trade schools later? The Clark County School District will still make them right. Those are some things I don't think they're thinking outside of the box for. And I'm not sure where she's at with it because I read certain memorandums that come down, but they're general. As to a rating, I'm going to be neutral with her. I'll just say she's in the middle for now. She can go up, she can go down depending on her actions.
Thank you. Patrick McCray, Nevada Veterans Association. Reading the tea leaves and the news, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a CCSD budget shortfall this year. So what would your approach be to budget decisions and a funding shortfall?
Well, if elected, I would obviously not take the position until after, I believe, the election or for the first year. I'm not sure exactly when that happens. But immediately I would ask for an accountability of it. I mean, you need to know what is being spent. Obviously, there's a misfortune to the parents and the students because they're not getting the services they need. Why? We're one of the richest school districts in the country, we're 5th largest, but we're at the bottom. We're 49.50. Why? Just throwing money at a problem doesn't solve it. Are you really analyzing? And I think a lot of times that the board, they're sitting there, are they really breaking this down to find out what needs to be paid for and what doesn't need to be paid for? Changing school names because somebody wants to make a request when you're still closing down schools doesn't make sense to me, the expenses. You have the heavy cost of the Clark County School District's bus transportation. Millions of dollars are spent every year on the transportation of children as well as servicing. I understand that. We could help with a little bit of that. Why not we position those new buildings that are not being used and have it where it's a closer time for the students to go to that? Those are just off the top of my head.
Hey, Paul here. Jeff Keach here with Nevada Veterans Association. How should schools teach America honestly, including our failures, without teaching students how to resent their own country?
It's been a trend for a long time when I was in elementary school on up that you think of more like social issues rather than the important things that we need in life. And that would be reading, writing, math. Okay, I'm working a 5th grade class and I will have half the class come up to me and say, Mr. Casey, how do we do this? And these are 5th graders, simple mathematics. But we will address issues of our history. And let's face it, every one of us has some kind of a past. There may be something good, there may be something bad, but I like to focus on the positive accomplishments. If you can guide the child toward a positive resolution or accomplishment and you praise them for it, they'll be successful in life because they've learned it. They earned it. It wasn't just given to them. Now, as to how the history of this country is being presented, that's very difficult because you have people that are in charge of that place books and whatnot inside our libraries that maybe shouldn't be there. They need to be accountable. So there are things that we can address. It's easy to spend money. I don't know about you, but during the holidays, we get excited and we'll spend extra money for presents. Did we really need to do that? Well, that's what I think happens with government. They tend to get a paycheck and all of a sudden they spend. Why don't you do things to develop a better relationship with the parents and the children and advocates, behavioral people that come in to address behavioral issues and things like that. So those are some of my suggestions.
Chelsea Fisher, Nevada Veterans Association. So I would like to thank you for taking your challenges with your daughter. I don't want to say I'm sorry for her loss because I think that would be almost claiming it as a shortfall. And I think it's amazing that you've done something positive with it and with her life. Obviously, you are very well versed in special education. So this is definitely a different question for you because you have a very large background in this. How much do you know about special education, which we've already heard a lot, and how we handle it in public schools? And do you think it's impacting our general education classrooms?
Well, the disability acts require that all children, especially with disabilities, be included in any of the programs. We at the school in the elementary, we have the different specials. We call them specials. We'll have art, music, PE, and Spanish. Now, when you have a child with disabilities, they have cognitive issues, but they are very, very intelligent. People underestimate a child with special needs. First of all, they're a child with special needs, not a special needs child. They're not defined by their condition, okay? And you'll be surprised at how many of the children that when they're integrated in the school really like the children with special needs. They have fun with them. They'll play on the playground and whatnot, and they'll engage. The problem I have is a focus on if they have an attention span issue or a language barrier, and I try to address that. I think children, now that they're back in school, they are now learning how to socialize again, and they understand. And you'll be surprised. I'll tell you a real quick story. My daughter was walking down the street. Well, she was with her mom. She was in her wheelchair. And 3 little girls came up. They were about 4, 5, and 6. And they said, "Is she sick?" And mom said, "No, she just was born this way." And they said, "Can we get it?" And mom said, "No." And then they ended with, "Can we hug her?" And they did. And that's what children will do. If you teach them positive messages or rules or guidance, and that's what we really want to do, they'll follow that. You're welcome.
Leslie Caliano, Veterans in Politics. Do you support the continuing of CCSD assisting students with gender transitioning? And will you, as a trustee, based on that answer, work to remove or keep Regulation 5138?
Remove. There's a similar proposition is coming up, which is proposition question 6. Okay, I believe these are matters that the parents need to deal with. I don't know about you folks, but in the 4.5 years I've worked in the school system, I've seen all kinds of different changes with children. Excuse me, and even adults that I've dealt with are not sure what they're doing. So why would you want to impose that on a child that's only somewhere between 5, 6, 7, 8 years old? That's wrong. Okay, that violates a lot of things. That child has those rights, and they have to have the right supervision. And that's when we're in court, we'd ask for somebody to watch over the child. I'm going to keep it really simple, not legalities. But the point is that to make sure the child's benefits are protected. No, I would not allow that. I would ask to be removed.
Thank you, Mr. Casey. CCSD spends over $5 billion annually, and yet there's a persistent concern that even audits and oversight efforts lack the level of detail needed for transparency. We've seen trustees from across the political spectrum campaign on auditing the system, increasing accountability, and reevaluating longstanding contracts and partnerships, but meaningful clarity often still doesn't reach the public. There's also concerns about repeated use of the same vendors, limited or single bid contracts, and whether the district is truly getting value for what it spends. So what specifically would you do differently as a trustee to ensure real financial transparency and that what concrete systems or oversight measures would you implement to show the public exactly where the money is going, ensure competitive and fair contracting, and prevent the district from being overcharged or taken advantage of?
Well, there's the problem. Well, that's a pretty big question there, what you're asking me. The bottom line on it, to continue with our policies, you'd have to know what your budget is because we're getting ready to come up with a new budget, correct? There needs to have individual accountability. That's the first thing. I mean, I don't know about you and your family and whatnot, but on my other half, if I don't count for where that money is going, I got a problem, okay? So we need to know it. So if it's laid out there and you have a budget, are we really needing to spend the money in these certain areas? Is it for the benefit of the child? Is it to help the parent? Is it to the community as a whole thinking we're getting the most out of it? Because Clark County has a tendency to spend a lot of money that belongs to the citizens. And I can give you 3 examples of it. First and foremost is F1. Enough said. Second thing is the A's baseball stadium. Why we want to play baseball in the middle of the summer, 110 degrees, when we could have a mega resort there that generates hundreds of millions of dollars, works 365 days a year, and we can benefit. Let's fix the roads. We're not doing much with it. So, yeah, I'd have to break it down, and I want to count. I would call them in, and if it didn't work out, your contract will ask the legal department, can we terminate that? And if we can, we will. You gotta have. There has to be accountability. You have the credit card, the citizens. Just don't give it over to somebody else to spend your money.
Thank you, Paul. Tam Larnard, Veterans in Politics. Since its peak enrollment in 2017-18, the district had over 320,000 students then, and we're down to below 280. I think it's 277, somewhere around there. So they've hemorrhaged 43,000 students. If you were on the board of trustees and Superintendent Eber is your one employee that you supervise or evaluate, what suggestions would you make for her and her team to truly make Clark County be a destination district so parents and families begin to start voting with their feet and coming back to their zone or any CCSD school?
As a Clark County School District teacher, I don't think I've ever seen a trustee come into a school and they represent, a dozen schools in that District G? Why aren't you making that communication? Why don't you make that connection? Why don't we call a meeting with the parents and try to get some suggestions from them and bring them in? Because that's the bond. The school district works for the parents. And the important thing is to be accountable for that. And they're not. They're not. So that is her burden because the last supervisor was terminated for certain reasons. Why? They were never disclosed. And that's the problem here. Too much behind the scenes activities. Somebody else is getting money out of this. And as she said about contracts, they're not automatically renewed. We go for the best price and the best quality. Most of the food that's served in the school that I'm in, any of the schools, is thrown out. All it is playing out sugar, fructose, and garbage that's polluting these children, ruining their minds. They come in bouncing 18 minutes after school or after lunch, and I have to calm them down. And it's really difficult. So we're not getting much help there. But I think that somebody's making some money. We're talking millions of dollars of expenditure. Why can't it be better?
Thank you. Me already? Already. Well, again, this is Patrick McCray representing the Nevada Veterans Association. A little scenario for you here.
Okay.
You're walking the district. You're coming around to my front door. All right. Let's say I'm in your district. I can vote there. I have 3 grandkids in the school district. You have a minute to 90 seconds to convince me to vote for you. Go.
I'm here to help children. My inspiration is children. I want it to be better for our children because our children are our resource. That's our future. And if we don't fix it now, it'll be even more broke as they get older. That's the important thing. I'm here because I'm not here for politics. I'm here because I want to be here. My daughter was the reason I'm inspired. She taught me one simple thing that I always recited in all the years I've been involved with business. There's no perfect person, place, or thing, but there are what I call perfect moments. And if you look at your phones, you'll see it. We need to make that connection between the voter and it's their money and tell them what. I wear a pin on my jacket proudly since 2023, and it was given to me by the last administration, though I'm not affiliated with that. I'm a Republican and conservative in my spending, but I'm also forward thinking on how to solve problems. And that was because the Lifetime Service Achievement for helping the community. I'm proud of that. And I accepted that simply for one reason. If it's for the Children's Miracle Network, fine. If it's for the Blind Foundation, fine. If it's for the Epilepsy Foundation, fine. And we raised in tens of millions of dollars for those organizations. I only wish that the rest of the community could follow suit and look at people that are helping our community.
Just to keep you on your toes, we're gonna go back over here for
Sure.
a question.
Question. What are your views on age-appropriate health education in the schools, particularly human sexuality, STDs, and birth control? At what age do you believe these topics should be introduced, and does it surprise you that children at the age of 10 are being taught these topics? And how would you approach decisions about the curriculum content in this area as a trustee?
The curriculum, is that a mandated policy, or has that been regulated by the state legislature, or is that just something that the supervisor and his people decided to do?
That is a school district
The trustees decided to do that?
curriculum. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so it's not, okay, there's either mandatory or discretionary.
So parents can opt out.
I would say, and that's why you're losing. You asked me about why is it 280,000 people? Because people are tired of having their children go to a school and not learning anything. They don't know how to read, they don't know how to write, they don't know how to do their mathematics. But they're taught about the social things. And that, at the top of the list, I think we're more interested in that rather than the importance of the child's own growth. And that should be a parent decision. And that's what the parents are now telling you. Guess what? My child's leaving your school and I'm going to a charter school, or I'm going to do homeschooling. And you know what? I've worked with 4 different teachers in homeschooling with my daughter, Jovina. She was legally blind, nonverbal, but she could respond. And you know what? She responded to that one-on-one attention not about her gender, but about her needs. And that's one thing we have to remember.
All right, we're gonna go back.
All right, back to me, Paul. Jeff here with Nevada Veterans Association. I'll get us over into talking about a little bit of money and contracts and maybe away from some of these social issues for a half a second, and then put it back on Chelsea for some more social questions. Should all district spending, contracts, consultant fees, and curriculum purchases be posted in plain language online?
Absolutely. That's called accountability. Whose money is it? It's your money. It's her money. His, and he represents all the grandchildren too. And then these other gentlemen here. That is your money. And so what am I getting for my money? You go to the store and they ring you up for all these items at Walmart, and they're itemized with an amount at the top, at the bottom. And you say, oh, I agree with it. Oh, no, you overcharged me here. Oh, I didn't want that. There's no accountability because nobody is being transparent. And if you don't have transparency, you don't have opportunity. And if you don't have opportunity, you don't have prosperity for a future. See, you buy what you think is important for you based on the information that's given to you. If it's not given to you, I say, hold on, we're not spending that money. Hold people accountable. If you do that, guess what happens, sir? They'll be accountable and they'll prove why they need it. And if it's not necessary, then it's gone. It's that easy. My son is only 10, he'll be 11 next month. And he knows the value of money because he has to earn it. Thank you.
Chelsea Fisher, Nevada Veterans Association. So you have been the harder candidate today because you are very well versed in special education, and you were an attorney, you said?
Yeah, but
Did I hear that right?
5 law firms in California. Started off with the criminal justice. I defense that was. And I wanted to be a policeman. The LAPD had a hiring freeze on. So I couldn't get hired. My cousin was hired and my brother got on. And so at the time I met a paralegal and I said, gee whiz, this might be interesting. And you know, you watch TV and Perry Mason, all that business. Well, it's not like that at all. So I went into law, and after graduating from law school, the first firm I worked in, criminal defense. And it was enjoyable because I filed a motion to suppress. And it was a sheriff that arrested a woman going up the street for 6 blocks. But the only reason he stopped her was because she didn't have her headlights on. And it was at dusk. She didn't speed. She wasn't going all over. But her blood alcohol content was 1.8. When we went in, we moved a motion to suppress. Judge knew what we're talking about. It was a sting operation, kicked it. That's when I left that. And I went to personal injury, which is basically suing insurance companies, which is foolish. After that, I was general practice with Glenn and Harvey. I actually dealt with one of the attorneys that used to work on the O.J. Simpson case. And then Glenn, and then some others as well, personal injury and such. But I came to Las Vegas, and the last thing I was involved was entertainment law. and I got to work with all kinds of entertainers. So I brought in over 553 celebrities that you would recognize immediately. You know their cars, though. David Hasselhoff, Knight Rider. John Schneider, Dukes of Hazzard. Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown, Back to the Future, et cetera, et cetera. And we bring those people in. And that's because I worked with them. And that was like dealing with children, too.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but that wasn't going to be my question.
Oh, I thought that's what you were asking.
I was just kind of piggybacking and wanted to make sure I heard you right. So a clarifying question. So my question was going to be, piggybacking off my previous special education question was, we have a very severe increase in autism, and instead of discussing really what we believe the cause is, what do you think that we can do to improve its impact in our schools and the public school system?
I will use my family as the reference. My first child, Jobina, she would be 18 right now. She was born 6 months into her life. She got all her shots, all her vaccinations. 2 weeks later, she started to seize, and things started to go south for us. Low tone, blind, nonverbal. And it was because of her godfather in the Children's Miracle Network that I got to talk to. Harry Reid, Oscar Goodman, Rossi Rollencotter, went up to Salt Lake City, and I met with the Children's Hospital up there, and the chief doctor that was involved with Jobina got us into NIH, and I met a bunch of people there, including a guy named Dr. Fauci. Didn't know who he was. So I truly believe you have problems with the vaccinations. I truly believe you have problems with the food. If you look at the labels, you would not eat this as decon in a box, to be honest with you. It's not right. And those are the issues. So I think you should always look at the cause and not the fix, because if say the water faucet out there was leaking, would I just place another hose on there thinking that's going to fix it? Or would I find out why that's leaking? That's the problem. We can't oversee everything, but we need to have feedback and make sure that the parents' interest is there, because as we've seen, autism has blown up. I mean, we got close to 40,000 children in Clark County School District with autism, some form of autism. It's crazy.
Thank you. I completely agree with you that obviously finding the cause is a problem, but also we have to figure out how to support our students that are currently in our schools. And
we don't have enough on the services. Their personal services, they're not getting it. You need to break it down. It should be 2 students to every aide. And if we have 10 people in there, I'm sorry, you bring in 3 plus the teacher. Teacher gets to oversee. The aides will handle the behavioral issues and whatnot, and guidance, because they can help them, and then the teacher then can inject their educational purpose they need, and they do need that.
thank you.
Well, Paul Casey, I'd like to reiterate our appreciation for you spending the time with us, to letting us know more about your views. I want to give you an opportunity for 60 seconds. You could address the panel, or you could address the voters themselves about why we should be voting for you, especially after this experience.
Well, thank you very much. I want to thank the Veterans in Politics. I was here about 4+ years ago, and it was a very educational interview for me. I learned a lot. And the thing is, you represent the Veterans in Politics. Have the greatest burden is that you actually go out and protect our country and the rights and the views and the opportunities that are presented for everybody. So I'm thankful for that. I never got a chance to serve in the military. Both my father, my brothers, all were in the military as well, and I have great respect for it. Why you should vote for me? It's time for a change, and I'll tell you why. If you like what is going on here in Clark County, then it's easy. Just check the boxes that you think are going to work. But if you don't appreciate somebody spending your money, you don't think your child is getting the best education for their money, then you need to make some changes. And that starts with the election process. It's just me and one other candidate. And I will be more than happy to sit down with them anytime to have them explain since 2017 where they have not gone with their education. It's the same, if not worse. The classrooms are out of control. The teachers are very upset. And I'm just going to say, I believe in our families. I believe in our children. And I believe in the inspiration of the future, which is our children. My name is Paul Casey. I am running for trustee, District G, Clark County School District. And I want to thank you for your time.
Well, thank you very much. Before we wrap up, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors and recognize Judge Mary Perry, Clark County District Court Family Division Department P, Christine Brewer, Clark County District Court Family Division Department S, Veterans in Politics International, Nevada Veterans Association, and our additional sponsoring partners for their leadership, support, and dedication to veterans and the integrity of our non-judicial process. I'd also like to give a special thanks to Tam Lannard, Jeff Keach, Leslie Caliano, Chelsea Fisher, Pat McRae, and Mark Jonas doing the production side of this endorsement interview. Thank you all for your professionalism, respect, and participation, and Godspeed with your candidacy.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, live stream on Facebook.